Why do I even bother? Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing a new Netflix movie, Outside the Wire. As you can probably tell by the title, I was not happy with this at all. It stars Falcon himself, Anthony Mackie, who also produced this, and Damson Idris, who I haven't seen anything outside of Black Mirror. In simple terms, a drone pilot is sent to the front line where he's paired up with an officer who just happens to be a robot slash android, just think of the Terminator, and they're sent on a mission to stop a nuclear attack. This is about the fourth action film in a row from Netflix now that I've just found poor, frustrating and uninspired. The first scene where we're introduced to Damson's character Harp was somewhat tense, but then something threw me completely off. The CGI of the robots. It looked cheap and straight out of a video game from the early 2000s. Thankfully this was only limited to the opening scene. The CGI of the robots throughout the rest of the film was actually decent. The film is set in 2036, which is only 15 years from now. So one thing I did appreciate was that there wasn't too much technological advances. Outside of the robots, everything else seemed to be pretty much the same. Now, having said that, it could have been due to the budget, but who knows. Hart makes a big decision at the beginning of the movie, which is quite interesting. It's a good conversation starter. But from that point on, we don't really know much about the character at all. Aside from a few little tidbits of information here and there, that's all we really get to know about him for the rest of the movie. And as I keep banging on about in my other reviews, this gave me no reason to care. Aside from his fiance's name and he put himself through college, I learned nothing about him. So when standoffs were happening and stakes were getting higher, I could care less whether he lived or died. And that goes for every single character in this movie. They were forgettable at best. I'm a big fan of Anthony Mackie and the work that he's done, but this was a big mistake. This was a big disappointment. His character was stale and boring. I understand that he's a cyborg, but there's meant to be a level of humanity within him, and that just did not come through. The film attempted to explore how you could be directly involved in a war, but still very removed and remote. It had a few bits of commentary about him being a UAV pilot, about never actually being on the front line, but it never really delved into it. A brilliant film that looks at this in a much more fascinating way is Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren. Not that many people watched it when it came out, but it's excellent. The relationship between Harp and Leo was just not interesting. They tried to kind of make it like veteran, rookie, a la Training Day, but here it just felt forced. The dialogue was horrible. There was nothing remotely funny about their interactions, and you could see again they were trying to copy Terminator 2, but it fell well short. But if the action was of a semi-decent level, I could have just let all of those things go. But unfortunately it wasn't. It was actually too fast-paced and incredibly hard to follow. The camera was just swinging all around, and there were so many jump cuts. It encapsulated everything I hate about the modern action movie. If the studios continue to hire directors that can't shoot action, they just shouldn't make action films anymore. And after an hour, I just lost complete interest. I could see clearly how this film was going to end. But even then, the route that they took to get to it was so convoluted with so many unnecessary plot twists. It was just ridiculous. Outside of one or two scenes with political commentary, we've seen this 1,000 times before. I feel like I keep saying this. Has Hollywood really run out of ideas? Someone let me know. In the end, the film started off mildly entertaining, but then went nowhere. It lacked any form of character development, the dialogue was dry, and the action was poor. It's been a little while since I watched a good action movie. 1 star. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and watch some other videos.